All right, let's write some equations and do some word problems. Okay, we'll do them one step at a time. We will make you successful at this. All right, so here we go. Make sure you just practice this. If we saw that the angle was x, okay, so this is just a little review. Then remember from what we did last time, our complement then is always 90 minus what they give us. The supplement's 90 or 180 minus what they give us. Therefore, the complement, if the angle is x, would be 90 minus x. And then that's simplified, so you would say quantity degrees. Its supplement would be 180 minus x. And again, it's simplified, so it would be quantity degrees. So please understand, for this first one, I'll really try to do some color coding to help us out. Please understand there's three things going on here now. We are expecting you to define variables. And then we're expecting you to set up equations. And then we are expecting you to show all the work to solve. So there's literally three different things going on here. Okay, so every single problem that's a word problem that involves this stuff, you need to define your variables first, just like you did in Algebra 1. Okay, so first things first, here's all I do. I read through problem 1. I don't really look at the details yet. All I read for is the word angle, complement, and or supplement. Okay, so what do you see? When I read through that, I see the word angle, and I also see the word supplement. Okay, which means those are really the only two things I need to define. So what do you want to call your angle? If you really wanted to call it M or J or P, you could. Most of us just stay with X. So since you don't know the angle, it's an unknown, that's why it's a variable, then I'm just going to say X equals, and you need to literally write this in words, the angle. And then its supplement, so its supplement will equal, well, if x is the angle, its supplement is 180 minus x. Until we're fine to finished, then we are not going to put degrees. At least you won't see me do it until the end. Okay, it makes it a little more complicated. So that's the variables part. Now, setting up an equation. So on the setting up equation part, I need to read through very carefully. So here we go. It says, find the measure of an angle if. The key is really getting past this word if, because nothing started yet. Now this is really just an English lesson. If I say find the measure of an angle if its measure, its refers back to the word angle. So the reason you did these variables and set these up over here is when you come to that word, angle or supplement, you write exactly what that says. So it's referring back to angle means write x. Okay, its measure. Is a key word in math. I hope you know that is means put an equal sign and never, ever, ever come back to the left-hand side. That's a big hint for you. Then it says 24 less than. Okay, so just this part. 24 less than means take 24 away from what you're about to get. Okay, so if you take 24 away from what they're about to say, which means minus 24 is at the end, and I might end up with a big space, but it doesn't matter. Keep going. The new word now says twice. Well, twice means 2 times. So I need to write 2 times its supplement. And guess what? The supplement is defined over here again with the variables. So how do I write 2 times 180 minus x? I hope you know that's going to require you to put 2 in front of 180 minus x in parentheses. Okay. So reread that and see if you could set up that equation yourself if I was not talking. And then the last part in blue now says show all of your work and solve. All right, so we'll go on our merry way. I see on the right side I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So I'm going to have 360 minus 2x minus that 24. I'll combine like terms first. So 360 minus 24 is 336 minus 2x. I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Okay, and I'm just running out of room. So if you're ever running out of room like this, you just make a new column, right? That cancels. So I'm now moving up here to the right. So on the left, I have 3x equals, looks like 336, right? Because my 2x is canceled. Divide by 3 on both sides. And now x equals 112. And I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to box it, because boxing it means I'm done and that's the answer you're telling me. On word problems, always hesitate, because you can do all this beautiful work and then still get it wrong because you didn't read the question. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to go back and read. What am I trying to find? And if I look here very carefully, it says find the measure of an angle. So the question is x that I got right here, is x the angle? And you should be looking at the variables that you defined over here. X is definitely the angle. So x is what I want, and if it's an angle, it better be degrees. Okay. So there is your final answer for that question. Okay. All right. I may not keep with the color coding now, but that first one definitely goes with those 3 things that we're trying to find. All right. Here we go then. Number 2. Again, all I'm reading for right now are the words angle, complement, and supplement. So if I read through 2, I do see the word angle, I see the word complement. Those are the only 2 variables I'm going to define then. So you decide, what do you want to call the angle? Most people are going to just stick with x. So here's the first required part. X equals the angle. Its complement then, you can just write comp, like I wrote sup on the other one. Its complement is going to be 90 minus x. Okay, 90 minus x. All right, we're ready to start reading then. Okay, if we start reading, it says find the measure of an angle if. Again, we got to get past that word if. Its is again referring to the word angle. So when I see the word angle, I write x. Its measure is, keyword, you write your equal sign. This time it says 15 more than. Okay. Well, if less than means subtract 24, then 15 more than should mean add 15. Just to keep you in practice, I'm going to say let's always add and subtract at the end, because adding doesn't matter, but subtraction does. The order matters. So I'll say add 15 to, all right, another keyword, twice, which should mean 2 times. And it's 2 times the complement. So I'm coming over here again, looking at my definitions, my variables. And how do I write twice this complement? Hopefully you're putting 2 in front of 90 minus x in parentheses. Okay, clean that up a little bit. There you go. There's your equation. The rest is now showing the work and then rereading it and making sure that you get the same correct answer. All right, so I'm going to distribute. I'll have x equals 180 minus 2x plus 15. Combining like terms, x will equal 195 minus 2x. All right, we're ready to add 2x to both sides because I want my x to be positive and on the left. So if 3x equals 195, I can divide by 3 on both sides, and x will equal 65. And then I am never going to circle that or box it until I have read the question. Okay. It's when I go back, I read and say, find the measure of an angle. So the question is x that you found the angle? And right there it is defined. It is. And since it's an angle, we need to make it degrees and then box it. We have now answered the question it's asking. Okay. All right, next one. Reading through again. I see the word supplement and I see the word angle. So again, we're going to go off and define our variables. Okay. So defining the variable, you're going to have x equals the angle and 180 minus x equals the supplement. Okay, again, why are you writing those? So that it's very easy. If you come to the word angle, you write x. If you come to the word supplement, you write 180 minus x. Okay, that's really just to help you guys. But that's part of what we will be grading. All right, the supplement of an angle. Ooh, this one's different, right? It jumps right in. The key word you hit first is supplement. All right, so we just said when you see the word supplement, you write 180 minus x. So 180 minus x. Let me make that look a little bit more like a 180 minus x, I hope. There you go. So the supplement of an angle, all right, that's the same thing, is keyword equal sign, and don't go back to the left. 6 less than. Oh, I know less than means subtract 6 from what they're about to tell me. And then it says 5 times the angle. All right, well, right there is the definition of the angle. How do you write 5 times x? It is 5x. There we go. There's your equation. We're ready to solve. Everything is combined like terms on each side, so I'm ready to start moving things from side to side. Okay, up to you how you move things, but I'm going to do the x's first. So think about it. If I move the 5x to the left because you desire it on the left, you're going to have negative x's, which is fine. You should be able to solve that. If you're still in the mode of I hate negative x's, then move it to the right. Okay, you should be able to solve it even with it on the right. I'm going to go ahead and say I want positive x's. So I'm going to move the positive x to the right-hand side. That cancels, leaving me with then 180 equals how many x's? 6 of them. So 180 equals 6x minus 6. Since I worked to get the x on the right side, I'll now move the negative 6 by adding it. So now I'm at the point of 186 equals 6x. And I'm just going to rewrite that just so I don't run out of room. All I'm doing is rewriting it up there. And then I'll divide by 6 on both sides. And I will end up with 31 equals x. I hope you're comfortable knowing that's the same as x equals 31. Rewrite it if you want to for yourself. Okay, so that's exactly the same as saying x equals 31. Never, ever, ever box it until you read the question. Reread that. What am I finding? Notice I am finding the angle. So is x the angle? And it is from that definition. Put a degrees, and you are done. Done, done, done. All right, number 4. We're on a roll. Looking for the words. I see supplementary. I see the word angle. That's all I see. Okay. Realize that you could see all the words. Complementary, supplementary, and angle in the same problem. So just look for them. Okay. Sometimes they'll all be there. For this one, we just said we saw angle. So x equals the angle. And 180 minus x equals the supplement. Okay. Ready for equation then. This one says now a little bit different. It says one of 2 supplementary angles. All right, well, these are the 2 supplementary angles. But it says one of them. So for instance, guys, if there were 2 other people in this room right now, and I said one of the 2 of you leave the room. Well, the way that's phrased, it's basically I'm giving them the choice. One of the 2 of you leave the room. It doesn't mean both. It just means one. It means you guys have a choice. So when you see this where it says one of 2 supplementary angles, it means pick one of them. Okay, pick one of them. I want to go ahead and do this problem with you twice, okay, just so you see it. So let's prove it to you that it really doesn't matter which one you pick. Okay, so here we go. By that, I mean the following. If I'm giving you the choice to pick one of those 2 angles, let's say you picked x. Okay, and over here on the other example, I'm going to say that you chose 180 minus x. All right, then it says is. That's a keyword meaning equals, no matter which one I'm doing. So I'm putting equals on both of them. 8 more than is supposed to mean add 8 to what we're about to do. So add 8 at the end. And on this one, I'll do the same thing. Add 8 at the end. Then it says 3 times the other, meaning 3 times the other angle that you didn't already pick. Okay? So in this first example, you chose, notice x first. So 3 times the other one from here would be 3 times that quantity. So 3 times 180 minus x. Okay? Likewise, if you're using those definitions, let's get rid of this, some of that stuff, clean it up. On the other one, it's supposed to be 3 times the other. If you chose 180 minus x there, then 3 times the other angle, which is x, would just be 3x. Okay. Now I'm doing this, one, to prove to you that it works both ways, but also to get you to realize that many times it's easier if you will actually pick the more complicated angle for the left-hand side. Okay. If you pick the more complicated angle, you usually have a nicer right-hand side. Okay, but either way, you should be able to do it. Let me just fix what I've got there, and we'll go on our merry way. All right, so solving these. Let's just work on one at a time now. I'll go ahead and distribute this one, work on this one. We'd have x equals 3 times 180 is 540. 3 times negative x is negative 3x, and then plus 8. Combining like terms on the right, 540 and 8 will give us 548 minus 3x. Add 3x's to both sides. Those are gone. So now 4x equals 548. And therefore, if you divide both of those by 4, okay, which I know I'm a little bit out of room, then you will have x equals 137. And again, I'm stopping and hesitating. I'm reading what the question asks. Notice this one says find both angles. Find both angles. So I don't really necessarily just want what x is, I want both angles. Okay, well I notice over here that x is one of my angles. So I'll go ahead and say x equals 137 degrees. That's one of them. And the other angle that I would be finding from here would be 180 minus x, or 180 minus 137, just filling in the x, which would give me 43 degrees. So on a quiz, if I asked you to find both angles, you would be telling me 137 degrees, comma 43 degrees. Those are the two angles. All right, so then let's see what's the difference over here, because we said the second equation should also work. So over here, if I was solving and I went ahead and added x to both sides, just thinking ahead that I want my x's positive. Left-hand side is 180 equals 4x plus 8. If we subtract 8 from both places, we will end up with 172 equals 4x. Again, divide by that 4, and you will get x equals 43. Again, I'd be reading the question saying find both angles. We know over here again from the left-hand side, the defining, that x is the angle, so x is 43 degrees. And now starting to look at what's the difference in this problem and the way we set it up the first time. Well, didn't we just find the 43 degrees first instead of the 137? They're just going to flip-flop. And so now the other angle being the 180 minus x, now it's going to be the 180 minus x is 43 this time. And therefore 180 minus 43 will give us the 137 degrees. So notice we found the exact same two angles that we found the first time. It's just we found them in a different order. Does it matter when all they're asking us is what the two angles are? Not at all. But do read the question carefully, guys, because I could totally have you do all this same work and ask you a completely different question. Like, I could say, what is the smaller angle? Your answer would then only be 43 degrees. I could say, what's the bigger angle? Your answer would then be only 137 degrees. I could ask you anything. Okay, I could say, what's the product of the two angles, meaning multiply them together. There's lots of stuff I could ask you. Okay, so read carefully at the end. All right, number 5. Different wording again, but I do see the word angle and I see the word complement. Okay. And so I'm ready to define. I think we're ready to go. So defining x equals the angle, and the complement is going to be 90 minus x. Setting up our equation then. 5 just says two angles are complementary. Okay, so that's supposed to mean to me that they add up to 90, right? But we also, that's the same thing here, guys. Let's prove it to you. Do these two things add up to 90? Let's just put a line there. If you added straight down right here, guys, x plus 90 minus x, wouldn't the x's cancel and you would get 90? Okay, of course those are complementary. That's what that means there. Okay, so if I just take that away then, so we don't confuse you, then we're ready to start. Okay, so again, here we go. It says one angle. Again, I'm not going to define it both ways like I did number 4, but one angle means you get to choose. We just saw that it might make it a little less work if I make the more complicated angle, the one that I'm picking. So my habit's just going to be, I'm going to pick the harder one. I'm going to pick 90 minus x instead of x. So one angle is should mean equals. 6 more than should mean add 6. Right? That's the 6 more than. And then it says 6 times the other. 6 times the other angle you did not already choose. The one I didn't already choose is x. So 6 times x is 6x. Okay? And then I'm ready to manipulate. So why don't we purposely this time say you want your x's on the left. All right, that forces us to subtract 6x then. If we do that then, over here I have 90. Negative x minus 6x is minus 7x. And over here on the right, I would have 6. So you've got to leave the x's on the left. So now you're going to subtract 90 from both places. That's gone. So negative 7x equals 6 minus 90 is negative 84. All right. And then getting the x alone, we would be dividing by negative 7. Negative 7s will cancel, so we get x equals negative divided by negative is positive, and 84 divided by 7 is 12. Stop and hesitate. Don't box. Got to figure out what the heck they're asking me to do. Okay. All right. So here's what I notice. Find the larger angle is what they're asking for this time. Okay. So I was supposed to be finding the larger angle. All right, well, I noticed that x is one of the angles. So it is degrees, but I'm not going to box it until I know what the other angle is. The other angle would be 90 minus x, which would equal 90 minus 12, if I'm just plugging in the x. And that's going to be 78 degrees. So which one of them is larger, 12 degrees or 78 degrees? Obviously, 78 degrees. So that would be the only answer you would put in the answer blank if it were a quiz or a test. Okay, so again, it's really a lot about reading. Okay. All right, 6 and 7. So I read through them. Now I notice immediately, guys, that these ones are a little bit different because I see that they have defined angles for me. So I think these are usually going to be the ones that students think are the easiest. If they have given me these represented angles in both of these problems, well then I'm going to do this for my definition. I'm going to say one of the angles, it doesn't matter which one, but angle 1 is 7x minus 10. And angle 2 is 2x minus 8, because it told you those are the two angles. They told you it's represented by those. Well, the key in 6 is it says find the measure of two complementary angles if those are their measurements. Well, if those are their measurements, and they're complementary, remember what complementary means. It means those two angles add up to 90, right? So my equation is going to be 7x minus 10 plus 2x minus 8 equals 90. That's what it means. Okay, that's what it means. Those two angles add up to 90. We're ready to combine like terms. 7x and 2x is 9x. Negative 10 and negative 8 would be negative 18. If we add 18 to both sides, we would have 9x equals 108. Divide by 9, and we will have x equals, just running out of room, x equals 12. Okay, I'm going to stop and hesitate then. I'm not going to box anything or fill anything in, but I'm going to say, I'll go back and read again. It says, find the measure of two angles. Oh, so I don't want x this time. Because notice over here, guys, neither one of these angles is just x. Okay, so 12 actually is not the right answer this time, like it was many other times. It now means I have extra work to do, and I need to go back and plug them in to my definitions there at the start. Okay, so again, we're going back to that angle 1 at the start of 7x minus 10, and I'm going to plug in the 12. So 7 times 12 minus 10. Again, those order of operations says multiply before you subtract. So if you do 7 times 12 on your calculator and push an equal, and then minus 10, push equal again, you should get 74 degrees. We want both the angles, so I'll go ahead and box it. Okay, angle 2 then would be 2 times the 12 in parentheses minus 8. Again, 2 times 12 push equals, minus 8 push equals, and you will get 16 degrees. We asked for both of them, so you would give me both. However, you better be taking the time to add those up real quickly. What had they better equal? 90 degrees. If it's not exactly 90 because they're supposed to be complementary, then you have an issue. It means go back and resolve. Okay. All right. Try 7. Try 7. Let's see what we do. Again, I like the problems where I see they're defined for me. So I'm ready to say angle 1 equals 3x minus 2. Angle 2 equals 5x plus 6. No, it would not matter if you reversed angle 1 and angle 2 because it's just saying they add up to a number. If they are supplementary this time, that only difference is that they add up now to 180. Okay, so your original equation would be 3x minus 2 plus 5x plus 6 equals 180. We'll combine like terms. So 3x and 5x gives us 8x. Negative 2 plus 6 is the same as 6 minus 2, or 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. So 8x equals 176. If we divide by 8 on both sides, x will equal 22. Stop. Don't box that. Let's read the question. This one again says find the measure of the two angles. Ooh, good thing I defined them because 22 is not my answer in the least. It means pick them up and plug them in there just like we did last time. So I'm now going to say angle 1 equals 3 times 22 minus 2. Do the 3 times 22, push equals on your calculator, minus 2. Equal again will give you 64 degrees. Okay, and then angle 2 would be 5 times 22 plus 6. So again, 5 times 22, push equals, plus 6, push equals, will give you 116 degrees. Both of those are the angles, so I will box them. Again, you put both in the answer blank for a quiz. But please don't go on until you've double checked that those add to be 180 degrees exactly. And if they don't, just go back and double check. All right, so stick with it, guys. You can do these word problems. Okay, you may struggle at the start, but keep at it. I promise you will eventually be very successful at them. Okay, keep working.